Morning, everybody. I'll call the meeting to order. And we just have couple items actually on the agenda, one in particular. So can somebody explain, because I don't know personally, so the process or how many or what is behind designating for the commission event?
Fran, you
So
have
do
the
we get a
Each,
number?
each commission is allowed to designate two of their events as their official events.
And is it
So
1, 2, 12, or we pick what ones we are going to? So is
right.
that the,
In other words, what we need to do today is of the events that we have planned for this year, we need to vote on which two you want to be considered the designated events.
and being designated as an event then means that the city picks up the OLSBD picks up the costs of that, correct? And Fran, what does that entail to vote it in?
What I know is that you get city resources, but I don't have detail. I don't have explicit detail on, but for example, barricades, trash
So
cans. I know that sort
so
of thing.
so this came in the context of the four MBAOO events. We have the Christmas tree Santa event. We have the trunk or treat walk. We have the gazebo series, and then we're doing this new fall festival. So we have four events, and the OOSBD is allowed to hold on to two of those events. So now our new MBOO event commission is now just we'll just have two, and should we give the ones, I think we discussed giving the ones that need the more resources from the city and from OOSBD over to the OOSBD.
You mean to designate them?
Yes. So I think our thought getting into this was the ones that are more expensive, or what else? Oh, it also allowed us to use their insurance. That was the biggie. We couldn't get insurance. Basically, the Gazebo series hasn't insured bands for 8 years. Anything could happen to a band member or to anybody. And Fran and Dale and I guess Bob Weber and myself, when we were part of it too, could get sued. If it's under the OSBD, it's under the city, and therefore it's under the city's insurance. So, and getting insurance for doing events with bands and for band events that transfer money. So the Zeba series has many sponsors, and this fall festival is going to have sponsors. So they're going to have incomes, let's say a top line at least of say 10 grand, 20 grand. If we're lucky someday, 30 more, more thousand. That coupled with the music makes them a higher liability. Our insurance went from $700 to $5,000 for the MBAOO. And Fran at that point goes, oh, we could designate them through the OSBD, and then the city's insurance would pick them up. And so I think that's the main reason for this is not funds so much as insuring the MBAOO with money transferring events and bands, and that has a higher liability. Insurance is going to cost it $5 grand more a year. I think that's my summary. Is that correct, Fran?
I can't speak specifically to the insurance, but that is my understanding, but don't quote me on that.
If that's true, I know that Fran had asked me yesterday if we were going to sponsor, but based on all the conversations last year of how we are liable and things like that, I was kind of holding off until this conversation. So I would love to, if we can confirm that, I would love to put at least the music series, and then if we're talking about two of them, I couldn't tell if one or two. Yeah, anything like that that's going to be potentially with other businesses, quote unquote, sponsoring it and actually having their name on it. I'd love to share that responsibility with the city.
So we're here to vote on which two events. My nomination is to vote the Gazebo series and the fall festival.
I would second that.
Yep.
Was that Holland?
Yep.
So
Okay.
any discussions on it or questions? It's a motion's on the floor. Okay. So we have it. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? I'll word it that way. Maybe that's how we should have just voted. Is anybody opposed? Okay, so the two are the Fall Festival and the Gazebo Series. That is
Awesome.
designated.
And then Fran and I will continue to then wrap up the insurance on the MBAO side of things, just to, it'll be a simpler insurance because now it's not covering the two largest events, and the city will be covering that, which is nice.
So on top of the liability stuff and the insurance, do we have like a list of everything else that kind of what are the other perks that we exactly get? You're saying barricades, probably permit waiving. Is there anything else that's like that moves the needle in terms of the feasibility of some of these things? Or
Fran, can you
I
find
don't have,
out for us more?
I do not have a list. That would have to be a discussion that James would have to pursue for us.
a little bit of a fact-finding mission?
Yeah.
James, will you check that out for us and at least let us know what the city's going to cover for these couple events?
I can do that.
Appreciate it.
I'm assuming it's still, everything's gonna still be the same in the process and what's needed and who, it's just a matter of, it's now gonna be more directly, this board will be more directly involved.
If I remember correct, there was a couple of other things that came from having a city designated event. Like I think it also opens up the possibility for expanded marketing. So you can do more, you don't have to go through the typical process for like banners and all that stuff through the city. Because the city designated thing, you can do stuff over the street, you can do street banners. And if I remember correct, that was something that came up a few years ago with the Fall Festival as being something we could not do. And even though if that's not a part of the immediate strategy, like that's the kind of stuff that I'm mostly wondering really what kind of doors get opened up either financially or in terms of like being able to boost the user experience and our flexibility and latitude.
Ian, that brings up a good point. I'm wondering if this changes the finances, right? So now these finances are going to be on the OSBD. The $10,000 that was given to us in our budget, was that given to the MBAO, Fran? Is that money now over there? And do we need to transfer that money back to the OSBD so that they can fund the Fall Festival?
Which money are you talking about?
Didn't you say there was
$10,000?
$10,000?
The potential seed funding, right?
No,
Yeah.
the seed money is still part of the commission.
Awesome. All right. Anything else, guys?
Yeah, I think we have,
Yeah, I have a couple items just quickly. Related to this conversation, I wanted to make sure you all saw the letter that I sent yesterday morning that talks about your annual report. And the budget request was approved when we passed the budget in June. And then just kind of wanted to give you a reminder that, you know, you are using your reserves and this is not going to be something that will be happening every year. I had a good discussion with the mayor about why you all should have this money this year to help you get established and to help kind of elevate the Old Orchard District and keep it going as seed money, but this will not necessarily be a perpetual bit of money that comes from your reserves. And then the other thing I just wanted to follow up on is we talked about new members last time, and we some people had volunteered to contact some other business members. I wanted to find out if you had any updates on that. It would be great to have a full commission by October, and so that gives us plenty of time to talk to people and have them apply and have council approve them by the October meeting.
John, did you mention that Maddie Waring was
She
interested?
did. I was walking her through it the other day. You guys should be seeing Maddie. I did Maddie Waring from Papillon
Okay.
Press. Should
Okay.
be. She was actually maybe online. We were texting back and forth, and she was.
That's
So
awesome.
she's in.
Okay.
Kelly,
How
Angel,
many-
you had mentioned Telly Tire.
yeah, I had
Have you-
talked, I went in there and then got Aaron as the contact, Aaron Telly, but he does not have time to be able to do it. He was going to check with people in his office to see if anybody would be interested. So I don't have a
Okay.
positive on. So he
Good.
hasn't responded back in reference to that.
Okay.
Do we have
I
an
mean,
old,
they
do we have a
even-
Webster University person currently in discussion? Because they're a part of the catchment of Old Orchard, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do, but they are a nonprofit, so we have to make some changes to the requirements for Webster.
Okay.
Yeah, we have in the
And then I
past.
do think the idea was to kind of go after some of these larger organizations. I know, there's been conversations about commerce, but if we can get some of these businesses that have several locations, I think that would benefit everybody. Any organization that has a marketing director, this would be a good opportunity for the marketing director to join the commission. So just wanted to put that out there.
Bethesda has a marketing director.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Bethesda.
Marketing.
Angel, do you want to follow up and just shoot me an email and let me know what Aaron says next time you talk to him?
Yeah, his email was a bit close-ended about we don't have time. He doesn't have time. He would check and get back with me if there is people. So I didn't,
Okay.
yeah, it was nothing that was, I mean, I can reach out to him again and see if anybody was interested. I'm happy to do that, but I kind of got the impression, in spite of we're only meeting 4 times a year. It's not that.
Yeah.
I really
know,
don't
Right.
think it's that much. It
do too,
sounds
but
like a general lack of interest. I feel like they're a big enough business down here, like where I think there should probably be some further nudging to try to see if they're.
Yeah, I was wondering when I've been in there and talked about just thanking them for their sponsorship of things, they've been really receptive. So just
okay, I'll reach out again.
Can I?
Maybe
Popping
someone,
in
maybe a
person.
city official. Yeah, maybe a city official should go in there and say, it's less of an ask. We'd really love for you to join.
How many seats are there currently, not just for quorum, but for us to be comfortably full on this committee?
We need 7.
Okay. Has anybody talked with Bijou at all? If not, I'll go. I mean, it's not a huge company, but should we
Okay.
do a lot of partnership type things together so I could wander over there as well?
Okay.
And then
Angel,
can I
why
ask
don't you just, I'll try to stop in Telly at some point. I get holes in my tires often enough that I can,
And
when I'm getting a repair, I'll see what's going on. No, I can stop in the next few weeks. I'll find a reason.
so this may be a group that is or has not been involved, but have you considered reaching out to some of the other property owners in Old Orchard, or is that not necessarily a group of people that you're looking to actively fill the Old Orchard Special Business District with? Because in other districts that I'm familiar with, mostly in the city, I feel like a lot of times they bring in property owners as stakeholders to these.
Mhm.
They are allowed, and that's how I originally came on before I had businesses open. But
Okay.
I don't know who else would be a big Edie Mouse seems like someone that could be.
Yeah.
They've got a lot invested down there now.
Mhm.
There's some big infrastructure project. He's got some water stuff happening this week or next week, right?
Yeah, he's gonna be shutting down this. They're gonna be shutting down the street. He called and warned me about it too. FYI for everybody in Old Orchard. There's gonna be a little bit of a mess on Big Bend this week, or in the next week or two.
Could be a great opportunity to recruit him to that too, since he's kind of fresh and hasn't already in the trenches of running the business.
Yeah. But I heard what you said, Pam. I didn't. I know we always had somebody from Webster University in the past, up until about a year ago, and then they just weren't. There was always a sitting member for the last 7 years. But
Awesome. Well, yeah, I think
getting-
that's Laura. I will check with her, Mayor Arnold, about following up with that.
Okay.
Can I circle back a real quick question when you're talking about the reserves? And we've had a lot of half meetings and 2 different committees, and I just get a little easily confused sometimes. The reserves that we're talking about, those are we talking about the Old Orchard reserves, or is this something that the city was taking out of some of their own budget?
This is the Old Orchard Reserves
Okay,
Right, there's
so
like-
to
that's
help
the
fund the new organization.
And so when you say that we're not going to be able to use that again, are you saying, so even if the committee voted to still put money over there to host these events, that's not necessarily something that we'd be able to continue to do, and they're going to have to figure out their own funding for these things? Just because I think that's what I'm trying to understand.
The current amount is more than what we would expect to give in any given year.
Okay,
Um,
but we would be able to give some if we agreed to still support some of these, just not in the amount that we did this year as we're feeding it.
yeah.
Okay,
yes.
I just
And-
wanted to understand
This is
that a
kind
little
of
bit
a
more.
And to clarify that a little bit further, now that the 2 biggest events are staying as part of the OSBD, those will be funded still out of the OSBD, and if the MBAOO needs more funding for either of its 2 events, which it shouldn't, but say we want to do the Ferris wheel and the reindeer, some year OSBD would fund MBAO a certain amount of money, we'd have to request that. Is that correct?
Yeah.
MBAO
Yes,
request from
and then,
OSBD.
You kind of
Okay.
want to match the spend with what you've been budgeted if you think you want to have that again the following year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's helpful.
All right. Any other things?
So Pam, you had mentioned that that the budgets and some of the financials would be available for us to review. Is
Yep.
that something that's going to be available? What is the timeline on the availability to be able to see some of that stuff? Is that going to be an in-person thing,
it-
or will there be documents available to us?
It's in the budget, which is on the website.
Okay.
Under the Old Orchard Special Business District. I don't know the fund numbers.
Okay. If there's anybody who's
I would think
more
you could call
familiar with City
Gregory
Hall
if you have
stuff,
any questions. Call
Um,
Gregory Donovan.
Ian?
would it be possible to drop
hang
that
on,
resource
time
here?
out. I sent that to all the Old Orchard Commission members, just the Old Orchard portion.
Okay.
James ran it for me and I sent it.
Oh,
So
great.
in your
Okay.
email,
Would you know what day that would have been?
not off the top of my head.
Okay.
I will look.
It was at least a couple weeks ago, roughly.
Okay. It might have been when I was out of town. So
Probably
you-
was.
do you think, and I apologize if I missed that email, that you could resend it?
Sure.
I appreciate it.
All righty. Anything else?
No. Have a good day, everybody.
Motion to adjourn, second.
Second.
All,
Second.
anybody opposed?
Nope.
Great. Thank you all for
you.
doing this.